I grew up in a fairly small town in northern Wyoming called Sheridan. It only had about 12,000 people. Lived there for 23 years.
Oh, that's so smaller than Carson City.
Yeah, and everybody kind of knows everybody. But yeah, it was only about, 1/5 the size of Carson City. Really small.
Where did you go to college?
To the University of Wyoming in Laramie, Wyoming, which is in southern Wyoming.
How long have you been a principal?
I've been the principal of Eagle Valley for 7 years, I think. This is my 7th, and then I was the principal at Seeliger Elementary for 5 years before that. And then I was actually the vice principal at Empire for 2 years before that.
So you're pretty good at being a principal. What made you want to be a principal for middle school students?
I got to work, when I was at the elementary school, I enjoyed working with the little kids, but I'd been there long enough because I had taught elementary school for a while too, and I kind of wanted just a change. And I think middle school kids really are making decisions about their lives, so I wanted to be part of that decision-making process and to see if I could kind of help steer them in the right direction if they were making wrong, or bad choices.
When did you know you wanted to be a principal?
I think back when I was working as a teacher, I liked working with kids, but I also liked working with adults. So I figured being a principal would kind of let me do both of those things. And I get to work with everybody that way.
Before you were a principal, did you teach?
I did. I taught 7 years. I was 2 years as a PE teacher at Empire Elementary and Mark Twain Elementary. And then I did a year, I think, of PE just at Mark Twain. And then I taught 4th grade for a couple of years and 5th grade for a couple of years.
Would you like more or fewer students at Eagle Valley?
We're getting kind of crowded. We're starting to get crowded. We're over 700 students for the first time since I've been here, because we started at about 600. So in 7 years, we've grown quite a bit. So I wish it would stay no bigger than it is right now. 700 is a good number. It's not too big, not too small.
Do you get frustrated with your students or other teachers?
Yes, at times. I get frustrated when people make poor decisions, and I get frustrated when people are unkind to each other or just not, nice. And so, yeah, I think one of my jobs here is to make sure that people learn how to treat each other with respect, but also how to deal with those people that might be rude, because you're always going to run into rude people, so you got to learn how to, work with them and live with them.
Do you think daily news is a good idea?
I'm very excited for the daily news because I don't think I should always be the one reading the announcements, for example, in the morning. I think to let the daily news do that would be awesome. I also think like current events, if we can update kids on current events or things that are going on in the school, even things that are going on within the community, I think would be good. So I like the idea that also students are running it, because you guys know how to do this a lot better than us old people do. And that's cool because you guys, this is something that you can also use kind of in your future. So yeah, I think it could have a really positive effect on everybody.
All right. What do you think daily news could do for the school?
I think it can open up a lot of opportunities for kids to know what's going on just within the school, because I think sometimes kids get with one group of kids and they don't really know what's going on in other areas. And like I said, I think to bring in maybe some community type of information as well, I think would be good. And I think it would get more kids excited about wanting to do something like a social media class. So maybe they'd want to do what you're doing someday. And I think that's pretty powerful. I think you could be a role model for other kids to kind of be a little bit braver and try something new. Yeah.
What would be one thing you would change about the school?
One thing I'd change about the school? I wish sometimes I could make parents and the kids that misbehave more accountable. I feel like sometimes the kids that are here for the right reason, really trying to learn, they have to put up with some of these kids sometimes that are kind of rude and disrespectful, and it takes away from their learning. So I wish I could a little bit more easily say, you know what, enough, maybe you don't deserve to come to this school. So.
Do you think it is a good idea that the school is getting into social media more?
Yes, because for one thing, I know the younger generations, you guys are totally into the social media thing. I do a little bit of it, and I find that if you use it for the right reasons, it's actually, the right purposes, it's actually a very good thing. I also think with the social media, if you learn how to use it correctly, it'll keep you out of trouble as well. So I think it can teach you responsibility as well.
Do you have any kids?
I do not have any kids. No human kids.
No human kids.
No human kids.
Well, do you have any hobbies?
I do. I love mountain biking, horseback riding, love traveling. My wife and I try to travel at least to 2 different places every year, sometimes out of the country, sometimes in country. And I like just hanging out with friends and, you know, going outside, playing football, stuff like that. I like the outdoors a lot.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Ooh, I like country. I like 70s music. I like 80s music. I'm not really into like grunge or heavy metal or things like that. I even like sometimes like classical music, like violins and things like that when I'm trying to relax.
Yeah, makes sense. What got you into this kind of music?
Pretty much my brothers. I have 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters, and kind of, you know, listening to the music that they grew up with. And then my wife loves 70s music, so that's how I got more into the 70s music.
If you weren't the principal at EVMS, what other job do you think you would have, and why would you choose that job?
If I had to do it over again or something different, I would actually be a little bit more motivated and study to be a veterinarian. Because knowing that I love animals right now, because we've got dogs and horses and chickens and all that, I love working with animals, and I think I'm good with them. So yeah, I wish I would have maybe motivated myself a little bit more when I was younger and studied. I had good grades and all that, but I would have gone to college for 4 more years and probably become a veterinarian.
Do you have any pets?
Yes. So 4 horses, 1 miniature horse, 3 big horses, 3 dogs, and then 8 chickens.
8 chickens. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Conley, for coming in.
You're welcome.
This is Natalie Mennett interviewing Mr. Conley for EVMS Daily.